not the only thing that happens to us bad stuff, but when you tend to gravitate more to the bad stuff. Oh, that took the wheels off. Oh,
you mean something that's unexpected.
Yeah,
you're looking at it from that could be a bad thing more than a good thing.
Yeah,
because you could have unexpected good things.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, that's what we want to live for.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That was a huge shift for me in my transformation. It used to be, oh my gosh, I need my life structured and everything is just the way I've planned it. And so when unexpected things happen, I curse it. Yeah. Wow.
That's a taste of expecting the unexpected. Stable life lessons. This week's episode of The WizeGuys, a podcast that unleashes the unthinkable in culture, religion, business, and everyday life. In this conversation, recorded during Christmas week, the guys applied a stable perspective to life to help us do it just a little bit better. So it's time to step over the line, strap in, and see if you are willing to let Mac, the Rev, and Coach Stu take you to a place of thinking differently.
Welcome to the WizeGuys, a podcast where we unleash the unthinkable and step over the line to help us see things differently and go to the inside edge and stimulate new thinking. There we are. That's us, the WizeGuys. So, hi, I'm Mac, and I'm your host. And in this episode, of course, we're doing Christmas week. As you see over here, we got a little, so here's the scoop, guys. You guys don't know this. We were talking about this today. So if you're looking at the video, right, you're going to see that we have elves on the shelf over here, okay? Now, here's the thing about this. I stole them from the kids upstairs to be able to do the little props today. When they found out, I didn't understand the elf on the shelf rules. There's rules.
Yeah. Aren't you not supposed to touch them?
You're not supposed to touch them.
Yeah. Right.
So they were like, "What?
You ruined Christmas for every child everywhere now.
You didn't touch them, did you?" And I was like, I had to think really quickly, okay? And I went, well, you know what happened? I did, and I burnt myself. I mean, they did not want to be picked up, and I had to kind of backpedal on the whole deal. But we're celebrating this week. It's Christmas week, and I'm here with my favorite wise guy.
Ho, ho, ho.
So, Rev, welcome to the WizeGuys.
I'm feeling wise and feeling jolly.
Jolly, ho, ho. Who's got the red nose today? No, I should have put the red nose on today. But Coach Stu.
Not me. Hey, guys.
Stu's in the house, man.
How you doing? This is my favorite time of year. My house looks like a gingerbread house right now. I love it.
He's got his Christmas shirt on.
Christmas shirt. I'm ready to go.
He's ready to rock and roll.
Hey, let me say hello to all you beautiful exotic cocktails out there.
Yep.
Happy holidays to you.
Absolutely. So thanks for listening. Okay. And this time of year, the exotic cocktails is definitely on my list. Okay, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. So
exotic holiday cocktails.
Yeah, exotic holiday cocktails. So welcome everybody. Thanks for listening, and we're going to dig into this whole thing about expecting the unexpected. What a great topic, I think, for this week.
I've been working with you guys long enough to know this is my Bible. Expect the unexpected. It's the gospel. You guys always surprise me.
This is the way we operate, okay? This is SOP for us. So, we're going to tie in probably one of the most significant events in all of history, right? Mm-hmm. However you want to frame it from your point of view on your religion or whatever it might be,
right.
Okay? But we're going to play around with that a little bit and have some fun with it, but also kind of apply maybe similar, not the same. I hope, we don't get that same thing going on in our families.
Be careful
right?
with that parallel.
Yeah, I know. I got to be careful here. All right. So as we always do every week, and again, we're keeping in the same theme, so I think you guys are going to appreciate this. We're going to do our church sign. All right. So, guys, we do a church sign every week. For those of you that don't know this, you're listening to us for the first time. And then we each kind of give it a thumb up, thumb down, and maybe a little, we grade it. Right?
Give it a rating.
We give it a rating. All right. So now keep in mind that this is on a church sign, so that gives you some framing, all right, of the words. And so here's what it says. The world needs a stable influence.
A
stable influence.
It's cute.
Isn't it?
It's cute.
Pretty cute.
Yep.
All right.
It's a wee bit of a Christmas joke.
It is.
I love that accent.
So this week, I'll go first because
Okay,
normally
yeah.
I wait for you guys to do
Right.
your thing.
You're
okay?
always such a gentleman.
Yeah, so
We
I know
appreciate
I
that.
defer, but that's the way I can pick up on your wisdom, and then I can just regurgitate it. I haven't got to come up with anything new.
I knew it.
So, the world needs a stable influence. I love this. Okay, I just got to say that stable, right? Stable. But I think whether you want it to be a Jesus baby in a manger, or you literally want to put any other, Christ consciousness, you want to put the greater power, you want to put, however you want to frame it in your own life, we need it. We need that influence. And so this week to coin it in there, that it's a stable influence, I thought it just resonated on all the way around, and I thought it was really cute, very clever. So I'm giving it a +3. That's where I'm coming from.
Well, I'm going to join you on the +3 today. So we got big numbers,
Look
big
at this.
numbers. But I like the idea of a stable. The stable in the Christmas story was the unexpected place.
Yeah.
They thought they were going to be in the
So
five-star
true.
hotel, or this
Yeah.
hotel, that inn. Nobody
Yeah.
would. Oh my gosh, the plan just went to hell in a handbasket.
True.
Right.
That's right.
Forgive me for that analogy. But the reality is they ended up in a stable. It was the unexpected place, and it's where the miracle happened. When I look at my life, the times where I've been on trips. I didn't think I was going to be in this motel, but this is where the magic happened.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, and we're going to talk a lot about expecting the unexpected, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's the whole idea here today. So what do you think, Stu?
So now I understand why it's best to go first. It's really hard to follow those two amazing thoughts. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I love the imagery of it and stable influence. Like when I thought about that, I thought, oh, that's cute. And then I thought, oh, they're talking about Jesus. Like, of course.
Oh, hello.
Jesus is coming around.
Hello.
And it's going to be a stable influence in our lives. But then you can, take it to other levels. Like we can be a stable influence for someone or
sure.
some group of people, right? I mean, that's kind of I don't know if I want to call it a challenge, but it's just something to keep in your consciousness, just to be thinking about. Like, are you that person?
I think it's a great
Right?
analogy.
The coach is a rock for a lot of people. He's a rock
Thank
for
you.
me.
That's
Thank you.
right. I mean, he lives that. So very cool.
So I
give me
didn't
a
give
number,
it.
man.
I didn't give it a rating because I don't go all the way to
no.
the edge. But so I'm giving it a +2. But for me, that means
Thumbs up.
+5 or whatever.
That's our biggest score to date.
Yes.
That's a solid 8
Yeah.
between
I
the
mean, I
three of
would
us.
give it a +3, but I'm just not going to the
He
fringes.
just doesn't do it. He doesn't
Yeah.
go all the way to the inside edge. Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, you're the
I
teacher
don't know
that
if
would
I'd
have
say
given me a
that.
B+.
I don't know if I'd say that, but
So there we are, gang. We just loved it. I hope you did too, right? And here's, I think I'll follow it before we move on to the next thing, but just saying, we pray for you that you have a stable influence in your life, okay? Wherever you find that, I think it's a beautiful thing, all right? So
Yep.
we encourage you in that. All right. So, all right, my guys, I'm actually going to go to another little tongue-in-cheek here, but again, we're talking about expecting the unexpected. So you can have all sorts of thoughts about this story, as you read the Bible if you want or whatever. So here's my question to each of you. Fill in a blank. Mary said, Joseph, I've got something to tell you and you aren't going to believe it, but...
you want me to respond?
Sure.
But I just saw a camel wearing a Santa hat walking through the marketplace.
Exactly. There it is. Okay.
Or, hey, the donkey just ate the last loaf of bread I was saving for dinner.
Yeah. Okay. He's going sidebar on
I'm
this
going,
thing.
okay, wait, I can do a spiritual one.
No, come on.
I can do a serious spiritual one. Here it is.
Oh, here,
Ready?
yeah.
A moment
So-
of reverence.
Yeah.
Joseph, I've got something to tell you, and you aren't going to believe it, but we're about to be the only parents ever who can't say nobody's perfect. That's my spiritual one.
Okay, here I was. I'm glad. Let's talk about your spirituality. Okay, we'll get on it later on. Oh gosh. All right, fill in the blank, Rev.
Oh, you know what I'd say? Joseph, I've got something to tell you, and you aren't going to believe it, but we are about to be part of the greatest epic story of creation that's going to transform the entire earth.
Joseph's going to look like a deer in the headlights, man. Which is, it's true though. Okay, but he had no clue.
He might say, what does that mean?
Exactly. Huh?
But he didn't run from the mystery. No. He stayed in the fire.
He did. All right. So there you go. You got, I'm going to wade in a little bit on Stu's side as opposed to the Rev side on this. So here's how I would finish it. Mary said, Joseph, I've got something to tell you, and you aren't going to believe it, but Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Oh, yeah. Does he just say it or does he sing it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was where it started the first time. Okay. Passed down. So expecting the unexpected. And what do you do with that? All right. The Bible, tells a story that let me just say this. As I was, not having, the reindeer thing on this. If you read the Bible, and there's this, the story, the Bethlehem whole story, and Mary getting pregnant, and the whole 9 yards, right? And you hear the story that an angel comes to give Joseph the assurance that it's God. Okay, it's not the milkman. All right, it's God. All right. And that's great. I mean, whether you believe that actually happened, or it's metaphysical, or it's whatever. All right. You have to understand, in that culture, even though Joseph took it to heart and he could believe it, and that's why he did what he did and he accepted Mary and all that, there's no way in the world that the rest of the clan, the rest of the society, people in the village, that Joseph's just going, well, God told me it was okay. I mean, he had to have some adversity. They both did when it came to this.
He was about to be ostracized. His whole entire culture was going to judge him as much as Mary.
Do you think that happened? Did that actually happen? You think?
We don't have anything in the Bible really that tells us about that, but you just take the culture itself and, like the Rev is saying, to realize that you have an unmarried woman that gets pregnant. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, you can throw the God over the top of it if that's your religion, that's your faith, and all, which is fine. I'm just saying that the culture is not going to go with that.
You know, it's so interesting because today that does not sound like a big deal,
right?
But back then it was.
Oh boy, no kidding.
I don't even know how to equate it to today.
I think it's still a big deal today. If you're hanging around in the bar and your wife got pregnant,
I guess
the guys are going to say, leave her, man.
I didn't think about that part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, frame it that way. So,
okay. Yeah.
So anyway, just understand that, there's all kinds of examples that you might have in your life. We've had in our lives that expect the unexpected, and how you deal with that. That's what we're going to kind of the rest of this episode, we're going to talk about. Are you positioned well? Have you done the work? When it comes out of left field, how do you react? All that good kind of stuff. So
poised and on your toes, ready for life.
Well, that's right. You're leaning in, man. Okay. So here's the scoop. So we've talked about this before. I don't think we've done it on an episode. I know we've chatted about it, but when you think about stuff that happens, most of the time when we say this, it's mostly stuff bad that we think of anyway. It's certainly not the only thing that happens to us, bad stuff. But when you tend to gravitate more to the bad stuff. Oh, that took the wheels off. Oh,
you mean something that's unexpected?
Yeah,
you're looking at it from that could be a bad thing more than a good thing.
Yeah,
because you could have unexpected good things.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, that's what we want to live for.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That was a huge shift for me in my transformation. It used to be, oh my gosh, I need my life structured and everything is just the way I've planned it. And so when unexpected things happened, I'd curse it. Yeah. Now, when something happens, surprise.
Bring
the
it.
Art of spiritual surprise. I'm about to become more of me.
Yeah, bring it, man. That could be that's a new T-shirt. Would it? Bring it.
Bring it, baby.
That's
I am more of me. There it is.
So we this is what we're going to kind of talk about. But there's a Japanese art, and it just made me think of it. I just want to throw it out there. It is called kintsugi, and it's where it's
tight.
Okay, which means join with gold. And if you've never seen a picture of this, it's really pretty cool. But it's like if you took a bowl or a vase or whatever it might be, and it dropped and it broke into pieces, and you want to put that thing back together, right? We want to use Gorilla Glue. Oh, okay.
Right.
I'm putting the Gorilla. No, this art form takes gold, liquid gold, right, and puts it on those seams, and it puts the the piece of pottery or whatever it might be back together and highlights the brokenness. All right. And now you have this very beautiful, repaired, if you will, redone, piece of art or pottery.
More valuable piece.
It's beautiful.
I would, instead of saying repaired, I would call it more transformed.
Oh,
because
I like that
it's
word
more it's more beautiful than it was before. And did you already say this? It's stronger.
No, I didn't, but you're right. Yeah, we
It's
talked about
stronger
that.
than before.
So again, what am I? Why am I doing this? Why did I bring this up? What's a part of the equation? I hope you're connecting the dots here, right? But the deal is when you get faced with the unexpected, are you leaning in to say, what something more beautiful can come out of this experience, than it was before, right? How can I transform and become more beautiful? Right? I mean, it's a mindset. It's a perspective that we're trying to talk about tonight.
Not broken down, broken open.
Oh, yeah.
And that's that stable experience. Would we still be talking about Jesus and Mary and Joseph and 3 wise men and angels and shepherds if it had happened in a 5-star hotel?
Right.
Probably not. Probably not. So that was the unexpected created huge, enormous value and strength.
Well, you make a good point, because everyone who was talking about the Messiah coming, right? He was going to be like a warrior, like a king. He was a king. That's why King of the Jews, right? He was going to be the king. So it was unexpected that he came back.
Oh, absolutely.
And he told them in his whole life over and over and over, stop looking for the king.
Right,
I am a shepherd.
Right. Well, and again, you can read these Bible stories, and if you're a Christian and you know a lot of this stuff already, the problem we frequently run into is we have a story, a wisdom story from a wisdom book.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. Right.
I'm just going to kind of paint the broad stroke picture here, right? And you can read it and you can say, wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, now I got the facts. Now I know they traveled here. Well, gee, how far is it from Nazareth to Jerusalem or Bethlehem? I mean, you can dice it and slice it and, all that good stuff. And yet, do you connect the dots from that story to your life?
You've got to do that. The greatest value of any story, let alone the ones in the Bible, are they're alive in me.
Yes.
How did they come alive? Mary, Joseph, Jesus himself. How is this birth happening in me every day? That is so important, and the juice and the value of that story is tremendous when you do that. You internalize it.
Right, and you don't get hung up. Filter the story any way you want. You want to take it literally? Fine. You want to take it historically? Fine. I mean, however you want to make it, it's a story or whatever you believe. But at the end of the day, definitely don't lose sight of the fact that you want to say, why is this story here?
And why is it important to my life today?
Right? The old Rob Bell thing, right? Steve?
Yeah.
He just says, look, however you want to filter it, but just apply it and say, why is it here? What can I learn from it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for me, I had to ponder Christmas a little bit, and when you factor in the God card and everything else. So, here's kind of where I looked at it was Christmas is an example of a subtle, unexpected, divine collision with humanity. And I don't know, that just resonated with me. Now, again, the divinity we talk about all the time is right inside here, right? And so often that divine collision with our right brain thinking and all the other stuff that we have and, all the other stuff collides all the time, and it's trying to just express itself. And yet we're the ones that get in the way of all that. So a beautiful, unexpected event. So here we are. We're going to talk about what are these things? I mean, what kind of unexpected things, in general come about? And so, I think there's degrees of the non-normative unexpectedness. Now, what I mean by that is this. Let's not go to the norm. Let's not go to the everyday. Oh, I thought it was going to rain and it was sunshine, or vice versa, okay? I was going down somewhere the other day. We're driving down and they had the roads blocked off, right? Because they had a parade or something like that. I mean, we run into all sorts of unexpected stuff in our lives every single day. But that's not let's not major in the minors here, All right. We're talking about stuff that, that'll move the needle or it'll take you right down on your knees into the ditch. All right. Depending. And there's all kinds of degrees of that. Right. So, let's press into this thing from a more significant standpoint than just the casual, they didn't have a 7:00 dinner reservation for me.
But can you get comfortable with those small moments so when the big ones come, you're ready to take them on?
Yeah.
Hey, unexpected. I just got a diagnosis. I didn't think I was going to have. My life's about to change. If I haven't practiced being okay with the rain or the detour in my life, then I have no bank account to draw from.
That's a great point.
Practice unexpected.
Start with the small stuff.
Create the unexpected in your life. Be proactive and conscious about it.
Yeah, you thinking?
It's all about what's inside of you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
like what's going to come out when these moments happen.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, you were talking last week, Rev, about go a different way home.
Yeah. Just do something different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. As scary as it might be, but look at it as an adventure, not something to be scared of.
Do something to make your family look sideways at you. Oh, he's doing something different again.
That happens with me all the time. So
you're practicing.
That's nothing new. So how about this, and you did a sermon on this, I think, one time, Rev, is where we got it from, I think, isn't it? About how hard you need to be bumped before the coffee in your cup spills over.
The coach did a meme on that. So I think
there's a great analogy related to this. So if you're holding a cup of coffee and someone comes along and bumps you, what spills out?
Right.
Coffee spills out, right? So why does coffee spill out? Well, because that's what's in your cup. If you had tea in your cup, then tea would have spilled out.
True.
So the metaphor is, the point is whatever's in your cup is what will spill out. Like when life comes along and shakes you, right, which it's going to do.
Unexpectedly.
Unexpectedly, right? Yeah. What spills out of you?
Yes.
Whatever is inside of you is going to spill out.
Right.
And it's easy. Here's the thing. It's easy to fake this until you get rattled, until the unexpected happens.
Right.
And then what's really inside of you comes out. So you got to ask yourself, what's in your cup? What's in you?
Well, I think that's why we're afraid of the unexpected. We're walking around like this. I've got my cup. I know it's inside there. I'm not going to spill it. I get bumped and bumped and bumped, and it's hot coffee, and it's burning myself. I need to just let it out. But we're so afraid. We're covering our cup and we're getting burned by not welcoming the unexpected. Okay, there's coffee on the floor. Let's have a party.
Then we're blaming the cup now.
Well, the point isn't, in my mind, the point isn't to stop from what's inside you or what's in your cup from spilling out. It's to improve upon what
the
that
quality
is.
of it.
The quality of it.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, it doesn't get spilled out, though, unless you're comfortable with it spilling out.
Yeah.
If I've been carrying coffee for 20 years, it gets spilled out. I've got room now for something else.
Be there.
So I'm going to be, that's why I'm excited. I just got bumped.
You just
Life
made room.
Bumped me. Somebody did something and a bunch of coffee spilled. I can put something different in the cup now.
That old lukewarm coffee just went away, right? I kind of like that. That's a pretty good analogy.
Yeah, it's a different take on the spilled coffee analogy.
Well, yeah. So, but I think the word, whether either Stu or the Reb said the word fear. Okay. And, I think along the way, in degrees of what we're trying to encourage you as well as ourselves. Again, we might point out this way at the camera, but we're not, we're not sitting in the ivory tower. Yeah, over here. Yeah. Okay.
These guys are working on it.
That's me. So you got to, along the way, you've got to migrate from the fear of the unknown. And we all have it. We all have that, the stories we tell ourselves, right? From the fear of the unknown to confidence in your ability to navigate the unexpected, whatever comes, right? And that, now, I say this, but I don't mean to imply that it's easy, okay? But there's things that you can do to improve and make those scenarios better and better and better along the way. Right? And we talk about them all the time, don't we? But it's preparing yourself, as a Reb was saying, for the little stuff so that as the bigger stuff comes along, you just are We talk about
Yeah,
that a lot
right.
of times, right?
It's practice.
We end every episode with saying strap in
Yeah.
and put on the armor.
Right.
If you've got the armor on and you're strapped in, anchored to something solid,
Right.
you can move and go with the flow and be like a willow tree. When the winds come, yeah, there's going to be change, but you're safe and you're secure because you're connected to something greater.
Well, and then it's what's your attitude as well, and we can talk about that a little bit more. I mean, again, are you leaning into the story, or are you, talk to the hand in the story, right? It depends, and it's huge at your willingness to lean in, because that's when the magic really starts to happen. Because the magic's happening all the time. But if you're not paying attention to it, and you're not even receptive to it, and you're just, and you're oblivious to it all, then you don't get to experience the benefit of it, nor do you get to have it flow through you out into the world.
But
you
you have to have a consciousness that welcomes it.
Over there,
Everything starts on the inside. Tama Keeves, I mentioned to you guys earlier. She's one of my favorite authors and speakers. She said this: the creative force of change that is impairing my current life, unexpected, change is happening, is also guiding my expansion. That's a flip of a switch in consciousness, that the change, the unexpected, is not necessarily a bad thing. It's expanding me.
Yeah.
I'm becoming more. And that takes a lot of work to change the inside, as the coach said.
So I've always had this feeling of about change, to be proactive with change instead of reactive. So change is going to happen, right? So you can either sit and wait for it to happen and hope that what you spill out is something good because you've been working on yourself, or you can proactively go after it, which is how I like to do it.
Sure.
It doesn't mean that things always change. It just means I'm proactively, looking for things to change, to make improvements in my life and to try to help other people improve their lives.
You've got the eyes. You've got the eyes and the ears and the heart and the soul looking for those opportunities, and that comes from the consciousness.
Right.
So I think that's a great way to live, on your toes, poised and ready for the next adventure.
Right.
There's two ways to live your life. They say that the difference between adversity and adventure will be your attitude. And what the coach is talking about is an attitude that welcomes every change when it comes down the road.
Those are two great words. Like, do you look at it, the unexpected, as adversity, or is it like an adventure?
Yeah.
Like, how much more fun would it be just to look at that as an adventure?
It's like, let's go on this roller coaster. Ooh.
I mean, think about some of the greatest adventures like Indiana Jones has had, right, in the movies. I mean, some of those weren't good for him.
Right.
There were times he got beat. He got beat up and locked up. But, I mean, it was an adventure. And he was excited to get through it and discover whatever he was going to discover.
I know people, and I think the three of us are some on the planet. I look at those moments of change, those moments where it's like, man, I did not plan this. This is not what I would have ordered up.
Right.
And I look back and go, I'm really glad that happened. Thank you.
Yeah.
Universe, thank you. Cosmos, thank you. God, thank you. Whoever.
Exactly. Okay. Yes, it's a gift. I mean, we've talked about this over the years. I used to take, mission teams all, around the world, and that was nothing but from square one to the time you got home about expecting the unexpected, and it was so interesting to see how people would react. Maybe me, but I mean, I would do it more than they would, and the team members that I would take, and again, I got zillions of stories about that. But the point is, if you don't put yourself in the environment, a lot of stuff's going to pass you by, and then some stuff's just going to come to you whether you want it or not.
Right.
And you're going to have to figure out how to deal with it. But here's something that came to my mind is, no pun intended, as I was putting this together this week. We tend to think a lot about events. This event came, I lost my job, good things, bad things, whatever. But how about this? What about when you have an unexpected thought? What about when there's a thought there that comes in, okay?
Where'd that come from?
Yeah. And again, good and bad. I'm not saying this is all by any means, but what do you do with either one? Hey, there's a positive thought that just came into my brain. Is it something that I think I need to act on or should act on or want to act on? You have a choice.
Now, at the risk of a runny trail, there's some religious systems that have told you don't have a thought for yourself. Positive own. That's of the devil.
Yeah.
I think we need to welcome those unexpected thoughts. They are the angels. They are the visitors of the angels of thought that are saying, there's something more. Pay attention.
Exactly. And again, you got to get over that fear factor a lot of times. If something comes, I can't do that. Uh-oh. No, and it could be something as simple as call that person, go visit that person, read that book, watch that movie, do something, go a different way home. I mean,
it leads you somewhere. And the way I look at it, because of my belief in God, is God helps to put these thoughts there. And it may not be direct. It could be like through a person or through an event or through something that I see, and then it puts that thought there. So for me, I'm more interested in why it's there and kind of move on, explore it. That's the adventure. Is like, okay, why did that thought enter my mind?
Well, let me tell you, it's because there's a light that wants to be born through you and as you. Mary got visited by an angel. That's a thought.
Yeah.
Joseph got visited by the angels. The shepherds, all three of them were afraid. It was foreign and alien. I don't quite get this, but they stayed in the fire.
Right.
And they became more as a result of entertaining that unexpected thought, the angel of the Lord.
See, this is the real deal here, gang. Okay, and again, same thing on the negative end. When you get negative thoughts, things that you would consider something negative that you don't want to think about or that you don't want to go there, whatever it might be. And this isn't a therapy session. Just tell me about that or anything like that. I'm just saying that when you have them, and we all have them, what do you do with that thought? Okay, how do you grit it? How do you manage it? And it's all the way across the spectrum, right? That's why therapists, are in business, right? We're trying to struggle with our thoughts.
Every thought is a teacher. What is this teaching me about myself? What do I need to know or learn or accept or reveal?
Right.
Yeah.
But again, if you're not doing the work to help you decide how, I learned a while back when it came to those negative thoughts, it always used to be, get away from me. Okay, I'm not having those thoughts anymore. All right, I can't figure out why I'm thinking that, and I just want to stop it, and I can't figure it out. Okay,
Right.
As opposed to going, all right, that thought's come to me. It really doesn't serve my higher good, so thank you anyway. But no, I'm not going to internalize that. I'm putting it to the side, and I'm going to move on. I mean, everybody's got their own little technique or whatever you want to use, but the point is, if you just default, if you just whatever, okay, I'm just going to hang, then chances are that thing is going to have its way with you. I don't know how else to put it, right?
I picked up a quote from something I said years ago. Change is our mentor, not our monster. No matter what the thought is, it wants to teach me something. It's a mentor. It's my teacher, not the monster I need to fear.
That's amazing. And I think this is a first, Rev and Mac. I think this is the first time we've had Rev quote the Rev.
You got to be careful with that because I probably stole it from somebody at some point.
There's some plagiarism in there somewhere.
It could be.
How cool is it when you can quote yourself? I think you've arrived when
I
that
quote
happens.
you guys all the time.
Well, we actually kind of did that last week where we said more than zero, right?
More than right. More than zero. Yeah.
So
I love that.
Beautiful though. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does our survival as a human species depend on making peace with change, with the unexpected?
Yeah.
Charles Darwin said yes. He says it's not the most intellectual of the species that survives. It's not the strongest that survives, but the species that survives is the one that is able best to adapt and adjust to the changing environment in which it finds itself.
Yes.
And that means entertaining the thoughts, yours, mine, theirs, everybody's. There's a reason here. I'm not here by accident, but this is a divine appointment. Pay attention.
Well, that's it. Great place to kind of take a deep breath as my brain is spinning at this point. So some good stuff. So, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back in a sec. And then I think for the rest of the episode, we're really going to just kind of try to sink even a little deeper into this idea of expecting the unexpected. And that's a different mindset. If you just let the unexpected happen to you, that's one thing. But if you're expecting it now, what do you do with that? So it's going to be fun. The last part of the episode I'm looking forward to. So let us take a break. Thanks for listening, and we'll be right back.
Like what you hear so far? Join us in the Rogue Nation by going to our website, gorogue.life, where you will find links to our social media and podcast channels and a way to subscribe to all our happenings. We encourage you to become a member of our cafe, where you can interact with us and fellow roguers and keep the conversation going. Please share us and like us. Now, let's get back to our Wise Guys.
All right, welcome back to the Wise Guys podcast, where we are this episode talking about expecting the unexpected. And this is Christmas week, and so we've been having some fun with that, right? So now let's just sort of, this is going to be, some of this I think maybe we're going to share with you some of our own experience. You're going to go, oh yeah, I heard that before, and I've done that, and I've been around that. Okay, good. But maybe not. All right, and you can put your own little flavor on it if you want to. So, as we expect the unexpected, the first thing I kind of thought about was let go of what you can't control. I mean, either it's gonna, it's gonna grab you and it's gonna control you, or you're gonna, have the cultivating, the attitude of cultivating poise and discernment to be able to figure out how to deal with that, whatever that is.
This is a hard concept for a lot of people. It's hard for them. People that only have confidence when they feel like they're in control have a hard time with this. It's like instead of going with the flow, like this is to me is like surfer mentality. Like they just go with the flow, right? They do. They go with the flow. They go with the flow of what's happening out there with the waves and the water, and they don't fight it. And because of that, everything is easy and fun. Right. When you fight it, true. It's kind of like that old saying, whatever you resist persists, right? Mm-hmm. So it's being able to let go of what you can't control, to me, just means that you're just moving forward and just going with it, whatever it is. I'm not letting it stop me. Right? Like we talked about this in the last episode, not letting things stop you. It's the same thing with this.
But what's the only thing you have control over? Any of us. I only have control over what's going on between my ears or in my heart. That's it.
Yeah.
And so is it a spiritual paradox that we consider that the person who has the most control is the one who more readily gives up control?
They're so
The one who is willing to release control in the outer is the one who has the most control on the inner.
Wow.
By letting go, you're actually taking control. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
There's okay, my head's spinning right now. There's the paradox. But here's...
You are in my power.
What I love about what these guys are saying is this. The mystery is a paradox, and it's beautiful. Because, again, if you know exactly what's next, you have the box, and it's finite.
And that's no fun.
And it's right. It's no fun. Yeah. You don't grow. You don't get amazed. You don't get bedazzled. You don't get, oh my goodness, what just happened? You don't get to experience the divine like you
Well,
could.
And there are some people that are happy with that.
Right.
My family is really okay with the rut that they live in.
Right.
And you don't mess with the rut.
Right.
But they don't also have any concept of the expansiveness of the spiritual reality.
Right. Well, Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I like my issues just the way they are. My mom used to say. And, and she did. She was happy that way.
That's right. I mean, we're not...
It's not knocking anybody here.
Yeah.
No. I mean, here's all we say this every week, and this is us. And if you've been listening to us, you know this. Do what you want to do. I mean, we nobody's trying to control anybody. All we're offering is this might make your life a little bit better.
See, you got three guys sitting here behind this table that want your life to be as magnificent as that we know it can be and will be when you can apply these principles and ideas.
They've made our lives better.
For sure.
Right? I mean, all we're doing is giving you some of our own personal experience. It's not, we're not trying to get up in the clouds on all this or put ourselves on a pedestal. No. These are real life, journeys, struggles, falling forward gracefully as much as we can.
I want you to give birth to the Christ in the stable of your experience on earth.
Let's repeat that. Okay. Back 10 seconds. Okay. So beautiful. All right, beautiful. And we've talked about this, finding joy in the little things. And every big thing, let's just put it this way, you're going to get lots of little things, the flowers, the sunrise, the sunset, the bird, whatever. Those are beautiful little take joy, the squirrel out the back. I mean, beautiful. But I have experienced in my life that as calamitous as something might be, or as unbelievably mountaintop something might be for me, you can always break it down into some smaller bites. That, if the whole thing is overwhelming, maybe the joy is just overwhelming. You don't know how do I deal with that? Or that thing that just happened to me is just got me overwhelmed from a bad standpoint. Chop it up a little bit. Okay?
Can I adjust the wording of this a little bit?
Hey, do whatever you want. Okay. Well, I better be careful saying that. Okay,
yeah, right. Here we go. So
okay, doctor.
I want to adjust the little things part. Find joy in the little things. I want to say find joy in either common or even better, familiar things, right? We tend to forget because we see them every day that it's amazing. It could be the smile on your partner's face. And you just take it for granted.
Absolutely.
And that's not a little thing. It's just a familiar thing. You see it, you've seen it enough that you almost forget it's there and that it's happening. Like when you mentioned sunsets and like sunrises, like we see those a lot. And some people don't appreciate it because you see them all the time.
Right.
Imagine if you were in a world where you didn't. Imagine if you lived in Alaska.
For 6 months anyway. Yeah.
This consciousness that we celebrate at Christmas, he said that you must become like a child to enter the kingdom of heaven. That means see it for the first time. This is the first time I'm seeing that beautiful sunset. And this is what Buddha taught. Beginner's eyes, beginner's ears, the sense of, oh my gosh, isn't life wonderful? Even the things you've experienced 300 times.
Rev, this is one of the things that I pray for a lot. Is being able to get that feeling of that first time, if I can, experience it or see it. Or this is why I watch movies over and over and over again, so I get that same feeling back that I had the first time that I watch it. Even though I know it's going to happen, still I can still get that feeling back. Sure. So I encourage people to do that because it's amazing when you do.
It's perspective, man. It's perspective. Whatever works for you. All right, we're just giving you some encouragement to break out of the norm, right? How about this? As you expect the unexpected, I use the word warriors, and that can have a negative connotation for some folks about doing battle and whatever. But, when you're engaging life, you don't have to look at it as a battle, all right? You're just pressing in. But you can leave behind more than overcomings, victories, if you want to use the warrior example. When you do that, you leave behind wisdom. And we're the wise guys, right? So what an important concept that might be for everybody.
Yeah, we're learning.
That you're learning and you gain more wisdom through those experiences. And I love the word that it's used here. They leave wisdom. So hopefully in behind you've been able to cultivate that in others. You know what I mean?
That's the legacy. That is the legacy that we all have. It's not, all the accomplishments. It's the love and the wisdom and the joy that we leave behind when we're gone. Right. And that gone doesn't mean leaving the earth. It means leaving the room. Right. I affected that room. I affected that moment. I affected that person who I may never see again.
Right.
But they're a little better because they crossed my path.
And check this out, Rev.
That's what we all want, right?
There's a lot of times that you're doing that, not knowing that you're doing it. I would say most of the time you're having an effect on people you don't even realize you have an effect on. Yeah. And it can carry onward. So what is that? Are you leaving like a positive, joyful impression that they're carrying forward, or are you doing something that's not that? And
it's not that. Yeah. Well, again, I think
people are always watching. I always say this. People are always watching.
There's an old song I used to sing to my grandkids when they were young, and the only measure of your worth and your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. When I'm leaving that room, has somebody's life been forever changed?
Yeah, what's your legacy, right?
You're going to carry that. Yeah, I made a difference in that SOB's life. Really? Is that what you want your legacy to be?
Right.
Well, I think you have to abandon the agenda mentality. It's going to be what it's going to be because it's good. You are coming into this scenario and you're just who you are, and you are confident and grounded in the fact that you know you're going to leave that place better.
And sometimes you are the unexpected miracle in that moment.
It could
You're
be.
the one that totally was the pattern interrupt that said, I love you in the midst of the darkness.
Yep.
That said, I care about you. I see you. You matter in the midst of the world falling apart. You were the unexpected energy that shifted the whole room.
Yeah. No, I mean, and we desperately need this right now.
Rev, are
guys.
you the kind of person that you want to be around? I recently had to have, I got to tell just a really short, quick story. So I had to have what I call a family meeting with my young wrestlers because there was some things that went wrong that I needed to address. So we sit in the middle of the mat. They all sit around me and we talk. And during it, I said this to them, and they're listening. And I said, you got to think about like respecting others and how you impact other people on the team and people in your life. And I said, think about this. Are you the kind of person that you'd want to hang around or be around? And 2 kids instantly were like, nope. I said, I wasn't asking for an answer. I was just trying to make a point.
Yeah, it was rhetorical.
Yeah, I was trying to make a point. But I appreciate your honesty. But I mean, if you think about that, right?
And ask me, Stu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all
Right. Well, that's the kind of person that you want to aspire to be.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah. Well,
And it's not one of those things where you can wake up in the morning and say, "I'm going to be this person." You have to do
Cultivate it.
things, cultivate it, and get there, and then you are that
right.
for others.
Well, I think our final thought for this will let you ponder, and that's this. We talk all the time about what motivates us and what's our grounding and what's our core and what can we do. And so, a lot of times we'll talk about following our heart because for us, that's where God speaks to us. That's where the divine speaks to us and through us, right? But we never, ever want to encourage you and think that you should leave your brain at the door, okay? So you got to take your brain with you, and that's a good thing, okay? Because everything that's God created is good. He said it's good.
So what you're saying, Mac,
You know?
is to be the Tin Man and the Scarecrow, all wrapped
there
up
it
in
is.
one.
That's right. But you got to throw the lion in there too, man. It takes
A little
courage.
courage.
It takes courage. All this takes
I'd
courage.
say take your heart and your brain, but for God's sake, take your lungs. Because when the unexpected is happening, if you don't have your lungs, that breath reminds the mind, I'm safe. I'm
There
not
it is.
dying here. It reminds the heart, don't have to beat fast. You're going to be okay.
Right.
That's when the spirit gets access to your
love it.
life.
So true.
So, I mean, this is, these are great stories. I mean, look at it. Come on, gang. All right. We hope that you're saying, man, I want some of that. Or I've experienced that. Yeah, you guys are right. Man, it's great when it works that way. I mean, I don't know how you're reacting out there, but, this is good stuff. It really is. And we've experienced it and like to experience more of it. Whatever. I mean, I'm not, we're not done. All right. So good. It's been so good that we got to leave you, though, with, of course, right? Your ongoing mission. We've got to charge you with this. Is that not true? Should you choose to accept it, however, is this. Decide to go rogue. Decide to think differently. Decide to go out there where you've never gone before on a 5-year mission, right? All right. Then you got to find some people to go with you. Find some roguers. Just find one. I think we talked about that last week, didn't we? Okay. There are these guys. Okay, they're talking behind my back. All right. So find you some of your gang, man. It's so much more fun and easier if you're going to find your like-mindeds. Then, as the Rev's already said, you strap on the armor. It grounds you. It gives you a sense of confidence. You're prepared. All right. All right. So there we are. Then we've got to go out there and storm the gates. We talked about this last week, and we're going to go into it more in the next episode. We got to storm the gates. I'm just going to use the word complacency, and we'll leave it at that for right now. And lastly, when you do all that, you unleash the unthinkable, right? You literally are expecting the unexpected at that point. So it's so beautiful. All right? So that's your mission, gang. But here's what's going to be even more fun about the mission. Next week, as we begin to talk about 2025. It's our last episode for the year.
Bring it on.
Right? We're going to go through each of these 5 mission points, and we're going to hopefully send you on a mission for 2025. We're going to frame it a little bit, and you can put your own little uniqueness on it and all that, but we're going to have some fun next episode with our ongoing mission. All right? So I'm looking forward to it,
That's going to be
guys.
fun. Yeah,
Isn't it
Looking
going to be good?
looking forward to
Going
it.
to project us into the new year.
Yeah. All right. So, we're going to, what do they call that when you light speed, they kind of engage, Picard goes, engage, you're going to warp speed. All right. We're going to try to get you into warp speed next year.
Yep.
So anyway, thank you. Have a glorious and happy and joyful holiday. All right. How you want to frame it?
Have a stable holiday.
Let's have a stable holiday. I love that. I just still love that sign. So thank you for listening to us. Come back and listen to us next week. I think you really enjoy that. Tell your friends all about us. Engage with us. And tune in next week. And we'll see you on the flip side. Guys, love it, man. Thank you. As always, gentlemen.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care.
Wow, you made it and can now unbuckle. Thanks for listening to Expecting the Unexpected, Stable Life Lessons, a conversation that embraced the magic of the stable to how we can approach life with a higher consciousness. Remember to visit the website at gorogue.life for lots of follow-up information. See the show notes for any links to episode content, and check out the Seeing Differently blog. Oh, and of course, tell everyone you know about us and like, follow, and engage. Be sure to tune in next week when Mac unleashes another unthinkable conversation. That is, if you dare.